She texts you late at night, but disappears the next morning. She says she's just not ready for something serious, but still expects your attention, your time, and your emotional energy. If you feel like you're always giving and she's always taking, then listen up. Because this isn't love. This is a game. And the worst part? You're not even a player. You're just the pawn. Let's be real. Sometimes it's not that a woman doesn't like you. It's that she likes the attention more than she likes you. And if you're not careful, you'll keep chasing her, thinking it's going somewhere, when in reality, she's never had plans to be with you in the first place. Today, I'm going to break down 7 clear signs a woman is stringing you along, and most importantly, how to shut it down fast so you stop wasting time on someone who was never serious to begin with. This is going to change the way you see women forever, especially the ones who leave you confused. She tells you she misses you, but then disappears for days. She flirts hard one moment, then acts like she barely knows you the next. And you're stuck wondering, what the hell is going on? One day she says she's not ready for a relationship, but somehow still wants to know what you're doing, who you're talking to, and why you didn't answer her text. She gives you just enough to keep you hoping, but never enough to feel secure. And if this feels familiar, you need to listen closely. Because this is not a woman who's confused. This is a woman who's stringing you along. And if you don't catch it early, you're going to waste your time, your confidence, and your emotional energy on someone who was never serious about
you in the first place. You see, the most dangerous kind of rejection isn't the obvious one. It's not when someone says, "Sorry, I'm not interested." That's clear. That's clean. You can move on. No, the dangerous kind is the one that's wrapped in sweet words, half effort, and excuses. The kind that makes you feel like maybe there's still a chance. The kind that hooks into your emotions and keeps you stuck. Because it's not really rejection, it's manipulation. And the craziest part? Most of the time, the woman doing it isn't even fully aware of what she's doing. She's not sitting in some dark room plotting to mess with your head. It's way more subtle than that. Sometimes it's just her enjoying the power. Other times it's her fear of being alone. But the result is the same. You get played, and she gets to feel important. There's a certain type of woman who lives off male attention. Not love, not connection, just attention. She might not even be into you romantically, but she loves the feeling of knowing someone is chasing her. It feeds her ego. It makes her feel wanted. And that's why she'll never completely cut you off. Because if she does, she loses the emotional hit she gets from being pursued. So instead, she gives you crumbs. Just enough affection to keep you emotionally invested, but never enough to move things forward. She keeps you in a loop, a cycle of false hope and confusion. And that's where a lot of men get trapped. Not because they're weak, but because they're hopeful. They see a spark and believe it can become something real. But a spark that doesn't turn into a flame isn't potential, it's just a flicker.
a woman who's stringing you along will never give you a straight answer. She'll say things like, "Let's see where this goes," or, "I'm not ready for something serious, but I really like talking to you." It sounds soft, gentle, and maybe even honest, but it's really just a way to keep the door open without stepping through it. And the longer you stay in that space of uncertainty, the more power she holds over you. You start doubting yourself. You think maybe you need to try harder. Maybe you need to be more patient. But what you don't realize is, she's already made up her mind. She doesn't want more. She just doesn't want to lose your attention. This kind of situation always starts out the same way. There's chemistry, there's flirting. Maybe you even hook up a few times. You feel like things are going somewhere. But then something shifts. She stops replying as fast. She starts canceling plans. She gets a little colder. And you chalk it up to stress, or life, or bad timing. But then she'll randomly pop back in with a cute message or a compliment, and boom, you're pulled right back in. It's like she has a radar for when you're about to walk away, and that's when she reels you back just far enough to keep you hopeful. This isn't random, it's a pattern. And the sooner you see it, the faster you can protect yourself. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself constantly checking your phone, waiting for her reply? Have you spent hours wondering what you did wrong, why she's acting different, or if she's losing interest? That kind of mental spiral isn't
love. It's a sign that something's off. Because when a woman is genuinely into you, you don't feel that way. You don't feel uncertain, anxious, or like you're constantly chasing her validation. Real interest brings peace. Fake interest brings confusion. That anxiety you feel isn't you being too sensitive. It's your body picking up on inconsistency. And that inconsistency is often intentional. You start convincing yourself that you're just being impatient, that if you hang in there a little longer, she'll come around, that if you keep showing her how great you are, she'll eventually realize it. But that logic only works when someone is on the fence, not when someone is stringing you along. And if you pay attention, you'll notice she's not doing anything to earn your time. You're putting in 90% of the effort. You're reaching out first, planning dates, keeping the connection alive. She's just responding, you're showing up, and she's just coasting. That's not how a real relationship starts. That's how emotional manipulation plays out. Sometimes the truth is painful, but necessary. And the truth is, she might like having you around, but she doesn't truly value you. She values the way you make her feel. She values the comfort of knowing someone is thinking about her. She values the fact that she can ignore you for days and still have you come running the second she snaps her fingers. And whether she's doing it on purpose or not, the result is the same. You stay stuck, you stay confused, you stay emotionally drained, and every time she pulls away, you chase harder, thinking you can fix it. But what you don't realize is that the more you chase, the more she pulls back, because she knows she's already got you. And here's the part that most guys don't want to admit to themselves. Deep down, you know she's not that into you. You feel it, you see the signs, you sense the
disinterest. But you ignore it because you're attached to the fantasy. You're holding on to the version of her that showed up at the beginning, the sweet, flirty, playful version that made you feel special. But that version is gone, and the woman you're dealing with now is someone who wants your attention, not your heart. Someone who uses attraction like a fishing hook, reeling you in just to toss you back whenever she gets bored. The worst part about being strung along is the slow burn. It's not like she just disappears all at once. It's more like she fades out in pieces. She stops texting good morning. She stops asking questions about your life. She becomes less emotionally available, but she always leaves just enough connection to make you second-guess yourself. One minute she's calling you babe, and the next she's talking about how she's not ready for commitment. You go from feeling wanted to feeling optional, and that shift doesn't just hurt your feelings, it messes with your self-worth, because suddenly, you start to wonder if you're not good enough. And that's exactly what this kind of dynamic does. It erodes your confidence one unanswered text at a time. You begin to internalize the distance. You think, maybe I said something wrong. Maybe I'm coming on too strong. You keep analyzing your every move like this is some puzzle you need to solve. But the truth is, it's not you. It's her inconsistency. And the reason it messes with your head so much is because humans crave clarity. When we don't get it, we create stories. We start filling in the blanks with our own imagination, trying to make sense of why someone would say they care about us and then act like we don't exist. And let's be real, men don't get enough credit for how deeply they can feel. When a guy likes a woman, he's usually not in it for games. He's thinking long-term. He wants to build something. So when a woman starts playing these emotional games, it hits him in a place he didn't expect, because he thought she was genuine. That's the emotional toll no one really talks about, the way it chips away at your ability to trust people. After a while, even when you meet someone new, you start looking for the exit signs. You become guarded, distant, skeptical, not because you want to be, but because your experience taught you that people can flip on you for no reason. And that's why learning to spot these signs early is so important. Not just to protect your heart, but to protect your future. Because once a woman starts stringing you along, the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to walk away without feeling broken. One of the biggest signs is emotional hot and cold behavior. When she's in the mood or bored, she gives you all her attention. She sends long texts, she laughs at your jokes, she maybe even says things like, "I can really see something happening between us." But then she disappears. Not just physically, emotionally. You can feel the wall go up. Suddenly she's busy, distracted, distant. You ask if something's wrong and she says, "No, I've just got a lot going on." But here's the catch. When
someone truly likes you, they make time. They don't let conversations die. They don't pull away just because life gets busy. They want to stay connected, even during the chaos. So if she keeps popping in and out of your life like a light switch, that's not confusion. That's control. Here's another red flag most men ignore. She never defines the relationship. She avoids labels. She doesn't want to talk about where this is going. She'll say things like, "Why ruin the vibe?" or "Let's not rush things." And listen, I get it. Some people genuinely need time. But there's a difference between moving slow and refusing to move at all. If you've been seeing her for weeks or months, and she still acts like you're just a friend with benefits, or worse, like you're on standby, then you're not building a connection. You're being kept around. And the reason she avoids defining it is because it gives her the freedom to do whatever she wants without accountability. She gets the perks of having you without the responsibility of committing to you. And the crazy part? If you ever try to bring it up, she flips it. She acts like you're the one making things complicated, like you're being needy or pushy. She'll say things like, "Why are you being so intense?" or "I just want to go with the flow." But the flow always benefits her. It keeps you on your toes, while she gets to keep her options open. And if you try to pull away, she hits you with just enough affection to stop you from leaving. Maybe she sends you a late night "I miss you" text. Maybe she posts something subtle on social media to get your attention. These are not coincidences. These are psychological hooks, and they work because they hit you right where you're most vulnerable. At this point, you're not even chasing a relationship. You're chasing closure. You just want a straight answer. You want to know whether she actually wants you or if she's just using you to pass time. But you'll never get that answer from her. Why? Because clarity ends the game, and the game is where she holds all the power. As long as you don't know where you stand, you'll keep trying to prove yourself. You'll keep reaching out, making plans, doing favors, being the nice guy, hoping that one day she'll see your value. But here's the truth. Your value isn't invisible. She sees it. She just doesn't respect it enough to return it. Let me tell you something that might be hard to hear but could save you years of frustration. If a woman wants you, you'll know. It won't feel like a guessing game. It won't be anxiety-inducing. You won't have to decode her texts or wonder if you're bothering her. When a woman is truly into you, you feel secure, you feel appreciated, and more importantly, you feel chosen. But when she's stringing you along, you constantly feel like you're on the edge of losing her. That's not chemistry. That's emotional chaos disguised as excitement. And too many guys confuse the two. They think the emotional roller coaster means passion, but in reality, it's just
dysfunction with a pretty face. It's time to get real with yourself. Think about how often you initiate contact versus how often she does. Think about how many plans get canceled. Think about how many times you've tried to define things, only for her to change the subject. Think about how she only really shows up when you start to drift away. These are not random signs. This is a pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can finally take control back. Because you deserve more than just being someone's backup plan. You deserve more than emotional breadcrumbs, and deep down, you know that. You just need to trust your gut more than you trust her excuses. There comes a moment in every guy's life where he has to choose between his pride and his peace. And when a woman is stringing you along, you'll feel the tension between those two every day. Part of you doesn't want to walk away because your pride is still trying to win her. Still hoping that maybe if you just do one more thing right, she'll finally commit. But the other part of you, your peace, is screaming that this situation doesn't feel right. You feel it in your chest. That anxiety when she doesn't reply, that sinking feeling when she leaves you on red, that low-key disappointment when she says she forgot your plans. And yet, you still stay, thinking maybe you're just being too sensitive, but you're not. You're being played.
And here's the thing, she's not going to tell you she's stringing you along. No one ever says that out loud, but her actions will tell you everything. A woman who genuinely wants to build something with you won't send mixed signals. She won't treat your time like it's disposable. She won't flirt with you just enough to keep you close while chasing someone else on the side. She won't give you affection just when you're about to leave, then pull back as soon as she knows she has you again. That's manipulation. And if you allow it, she will continue to use your emotions as leverage. But here's where everything changes. When you stop playing the game. That's the key moment. When you stop responding to breadcrumbs. When you stop showing up every time she calls. When you stop giving her your time just because she gave you a little attention. When you pull back, not to punish her but to protect your energy, that's when the entire dynamic shifts. Because now she's not in control anymore. Now she has to wonder where she stands. And that shift in energy is powerful. It's not about being cold or cruel. It's about showing her, with your actions, that you're not someone who can be strung along. You want to know what really makes her panic? It's not when you confront her. It's not when you ask for answers. It's when you go silent. It's when you stop chasing. It's when she sees that her presence is no longer required for your happiness. That's
When the spell breaks. That's when she realizes she's no longer in control of your emotions. And depending on who she really is, she'll either try to pull you back in, or she'll disappear entirely. And either way, that's a win for you. Because now you're dealing with truth, not illusion. You're finally seeing her for who she really is, not who you hoped she would be. The thing is, walking away isn't just about getting away from her. It's about getting back to you. The version of you that wasn't constantly overthinking. The version of you that knew your worth. The version of you that didn't tolerate uncertainty just to feel a little loved. The moment you reclaim your power, everything else becomes clear. You start realizing how much energy you were wasting, how many hours you spent waiting on her, how many emotions you gave to someone who was only ever half invested. And that realization? That's where healing begins. Because you stop blaming yourself, and you start building a life where you never have to question if you're enough. Too many guys think pulling back means they'll lose her for good. But here's the truth. If pulling back causes her to walk away, she was never yours to begin with. All you lost was the illusion of a connection. And once that illusion is gone, you're free to build something real, something mutual, something where you don't have to guess where you stand. That's the kind of relationship that actually adds value to your life, instead of draining it. It's crazy how fast things change once you stop giving unlimited access to people who only treat you like an option. Suddenly, you have clarity. You have time. You
start focusing on your goals again. You spend time with people who actually appreciate you. You stop waking up and checking your phone hoping for her name to pop up. And when she does reach out, and she will, you're not even tempted because you've tasted peace and it feels better than the chaos ever did. That's the real win. Not getting her back, but getting yourself back. Let me give it to you straight. If you have to constantly wonder where you stand with a woman, then you're standing in the wrong place. Real interest doesn't feel like confusion. It feels like certainty. It feels like consistency. And if she can't give you that, then she doesn't deserve the access she's had. Period. You don't owe her another chance. You don't owe her another explanation. You don't need to keep proving you're worthy of being chosen. You already are. And the right woman will never make you fight for clarity. Now here's the truth that stings, but also frees you. The same way she trained you to chase, you can train yourself to detach. Just like she conditioned you to crave her validation, you can condition yourself to no longer need it. And once you do that, once you stop responding to her little attention hits, you start breaking the cycle. She might still try to reel you back in, she might play the victim, she might even say you changed, but let her talk, let her text, let her post. None of that matters anymore. Because once you've seen the game for what it is, it stops being fun, and you stop playing. The power doesn't come from controlling her. The power comes from no longer needing her. When your attention becomes selective, it becomes valuable. When your energy is protected, it becomes attractive. When your time is respected by you, others are forced to respect it too. And that's when the shift really begins.
When she realizes she can't just come and go as she pleases, that she can't just dangle you on a string anymore, because the string is gone, and so are you. The moment you choose peace over chaos, you win. Not in a loud, showy way, not in a way that requires her validation or a dramatic goodbye, but in a quiet, powerful way that says, I know my worth now. And that, right there, is something no one can take from you again. That decision changes everything. Because now, when a woman tries to string you along, you spot it early. You recognize the patterns. You don't get emotionally attached to potential. You don't fall for half effort. You've trained yourself to value your own time and peace more than someone else's approval. And that's the energy that attracts the right people into your life. People who are ready. People who are real. See, you don't have to beg anyone to stay when you're valuable. You don't have to prove anything. Real connection doesn't require convincing. It's mutual. It flows both ways. And when it doesn't, you walk. Not to manipulate, not to get a reaction, but because you finally realize that your peace is the most expensive thing you've been giving away for free. You don't need closure from her. You don't need a long conversation. All you need is that one decision, that this is the last time you entertain anyone who can't see your value without conditions. Because let's be honest, stringing someone along is not just harmless confusion. It's emotional manipulation. It's selfish. It's her way of getting the benefits of your attention, your time, your emotional investment, without ever offering the same in return. And when you allow it, you're sending a message that says you're okay with
being second place. You're okay with being a backup plan. And you're not. Not anymore. From this point forward, you only deal with women who are all in or not in at all. No more gray areas, no more emotional limbo. You don't wait for someone to realize your worth. You show them by walking away the second they treat you like an option. That's how you set the standard. Not by demanding it with words, but by demonstrating it with action. If she wants to come back, let her. But make sure she's returning to a version of you that no longer tolerates the bare minimum. Make sure you're not the same man she once kept on standby. Because the old you tolerated things the new you would never accept. And that's how you know you've grown. And yes, there might be a moment where you miss her, where you wonder if you were too harsh, but that's just your emotional memory trying to cling to the good parts. Don't fall for it. Remember the inconsistency. Remember the way she disappeared when you needed clarity. Remember how you constantly felt unsure. That was not love. That was manipulation wrapped in just enough attention to keep you hooked. And you deserve more than that. You deserve to wake up and feel secure, not stressed. You deserve someone who texts back because they want to, not because they're trying to keep you around just in case. You deserve someone who chooses you every day, without games. The more you stop settling, the more life gives you what you actually want. The moment you raise your standards and stick to them, something shifts. You stop
feeling desperate. You stop overgiving. You stop asking, what did I do wrong? And start asking, why did I allow this in the first place? That's when the healing begins. And that's when you truly move on, not from her, but from the version of yourself that needed her. This isn't about turning cold or bitter. It's about getting smart. It's about learning the lessons and applying them. So when another woman tries to pull the same stunt, flirting without committing, showing up when it's convenient, feeding you vague promises, you don't even entertain it. You see the game from a mile away. And instead of playing, you walk. Quietly. With peace. Because you know your energy is too expensive to waste on someone who only gives when it benefits them. So if you've been stuck in this cycle, if you've been waiting, hoping, overthinking, second-guessing, let this be the moment you finally break free. You don't need another sign. You don't need her to explain. Her inconsistency was the explanation. Now it's time to let go. Not out of spite, not to make her miss you, but because your future deserves better than your past. And that's the truth. You were never hard to love. You were just loving the wrong person, the one who couldn't see it, the one who only gave enough to keep you hoping. So now, you give yourself the love you were trying to get from her. You protect your energy like it's gold. Because it is. You choose yourself. You choose peace. You choose progress. And you let everything that's not meant for you fall away without resistance. The only real power you need is the power to walk away from anything that keeps you small. So use it. Use it now. Because once you do, you never go back to begging for love again. Watch this next video right here to keep your power strong.